I know exactly how hard and frustrating it can be to rely on thrift stores to find all your Amazon inventory. Back in 2021, I decided I was done living paycheck to paycheck, and I went all in on Amazon. And I was hitting all the thrift stores that I could possibly hit around my area. And then I also watched all the YouTube channels, or all the YouTube videos that Rake and Profits would come out with. And, you know, I was building my inventory, and it did work at the beginning, but then the challenges started piling up. And today I'm going to share my journey, the problems I faced, and, you know, the issues that came up with thrifting. So stick around and we'll dive into my journey. So when I started, I was, you know, gung-ho. I was going all in on it. I grew my inventory like to over 1,000 like that. It took me maybe a couple months, you know, because I mean, you're buying books for $2, you know, it's pretty easy to turn around your profit or make a profit on that. But the problem was I was buying dead inventory. I wasn't buying like books that would move. You know, I was using the Scout IQ, and every time the green light came on, I bought the book, you know, and that was, I mean, it worked. Like I was able to find some inventory, but I found a lot of inventory that just never sold, you know. And on top of that, like, yeah, I was making profits, but the problem is you're selling a whole bunch of books for very, very small returns, you know. I mean, you are like 100% or way more your ROI, but you're not getting a whole lot back most of the time. Sometimes you hit a good home run with like textbooks and stuff, but you also have to be careful with textbooks buying from thrift stores, because you don't have legitimate, you know, receipts. Well, you do have receipts, but you don't have legitimate invoices, I guess I should say. But the first big issue that I ran into was my location, really. And the problem was I live in Pueblo, Colorado. So if anybody knows where that's at, we're at the southern part of Colorado. And here in Pueblo, Colorado, we do have quite a bit of thrift stores, but very little books and media to go through. I have a Goodwill that's real close to here, and you know, I found some good stuff there, but it was never like great, you know, and that was an issue. So I started traveling all the way up to Colorado Springs. I started traveling up there, and I was doing good. I was hitting thrift stores, going crazy with it, and then I found a gold mine. I found this one thrift store that every time I hit it, every time I'd hit it on like Sunday, because that's when they restock the shelves, I would hit it big, you know. And the reason being is because it was literally right next to a college. So I'm assuming that, you know, this is me assuming, I'm assuming that all the college kids would, you know, move out for the semester and then just go donate all their books, and then I'd come in and, you know, find them and swoop them up. And that was great, and I would almost make money every weekend that way, and it worked for a few weeks until the competition showed up. That was the biggest thing. The competition showed up. I don't know if like no one knew about it before, or I was just getting lucky by the timing for a few weeks there. I'm not real sure on that part, but what I do know is after a couple weeks, it was almost impossible to time it right. People were literally like waiting for them to bring more books out, and they were scanning the books while the books were still in the cart. I'm not that brazen, you know. I'm not like, I wait for the people to put it on the shelves, and then I'll go through and scan it. I'm not gonna go up to the person and literally take it out of their hands, like, hey, can I scan that? You know, like, that's just not me. I don't know if that's, you know, me being too timid or whatever, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait for them to put it on the shelf and then do it. So as I'm waiting for them to put it on the shelves and I see someone go up there and just scan through the whole cart, it's kind of demoralizing. So I started, you know, moving away from that store. And, you know, I was hitting other stores up, and I was just like, there has to be another store that's good. And there was one store that I was hitting that was awesome. Like, it looked awesome. It wasn't awesome. It looked awesome, I should say. And all the books were clean. All the books looked great and everything. But I couldn't find a single thing in this store. And I was just like, what is going on? Why can't I find anything? And it dumbfounded me for a while. Because it, like, not to be, I guess, I don't know. It was in a rich neighborhood, is what I'm trying to say. It was in a rich neighborhood, and usually whenever you're in a rich neighborhood, you get, you know, better products to find. But this wasn't the case. I wasn't finding a single thing, and it took me a long time to figure out that they're selling online. They're selling on Amazon. They're competing with me on Amazon. You know, I didn't understand that until I found the new method that really, you know, helps me find everything without ever leaving my house. And I've talked about this several times before, but I haven't gone into reason why I moved to it. And it's literally that reason right there. Is I found out that, especially in Colorado Springs, you can literally see Southern Colorado as a seller on Amazon, and that was a big turning point for me. I realized that, you know, I'm unless you can get back room access. I know that Romer the Romer preaches, you know, and get backroom access. So if you can do that, then, you know, you'll probably be way better off. But I didn't have that. I didn't have the backroom access or anything, and I didn't have the ins and outs. And so I moved on to OA for a while, traditional OA for a while, and really did not do good in that, so scrap that. And then I went back to thrifting for a while, and I was just like, what can I do? What can I do? And then what I realized is I could combine both worlds. I found Joji Davenport's YouTube channel and then realized that he was doing online arbitrage, but for books. He was literally buying all of these books from his house and not even seeing them, sending them to a prep center. I didn't do that for a long time, but you can do that. But he was literally doing online arbitrage, but for the media part. And that was when I was just like, bing. That's it. That's how I have to figure this out. And it saves you the drive, because if you're like me, I'm in an area where there's not a whole lot of thrift stores to choose from. So I had to drive all the way to the north side and just kind of work my way down. So it would take me an hour to get up there and then come back down. And that drive, just to me, is a waste of time, especially if you like go and you hit a thrift store and you realize, dang it, someone's already scanned through all these books. You move on to the next one. That's an hour wasted, you know, or 30 minutes, however long it took you to realize that there's no profit in these, you know, in that store. And so I had to change. I had to do something. And the game-changing tool that I found was Keepa, because I was literally like doing my pricing off of Scout IQ. And with Scout IQ, you're getting the right now price, right now sales rank, which is very, very, it can be skewed. It could have sold yesterday and have a sales rank of 5,000, but before yesterday it was a sales rank of 7 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't really judge it off of the right now. You have to look back at the past historical data of its sales, what it sold for, when it sold, how much it sold, and everything, and then make a more educated guess on what you're going to price it at and what you'll be able to sell it for. And just using Scout IQ, it doesn't have what you need. It doesn't have the data that, you know, you can, you know, make a buying decision right then and there. And that was an issue for me, and, you know, I struggled with that for a while. Now, I'm not going to say that online arbitrage for media is perfect. Everything is easy going, just come on over. It's you know, all roses here. It's not. It's really not. And what made me realize that is, you know, it took me a long time to learn it. You know, number one, it took me a long time to learn Keepa. And then once I learned Keepa, it took me a long time to learn how to find the right books, you know, and that process takes a while. And for some, it'll take shorter time, for some it'll take longer. I would say for me, like, I did online arbitrage traditional, so I did Keepa knowledge a little bit during that, or quite a bit during that time. So I had a year of Keepa knowledge, and then I jumped into the online arbitrage books, and then I had to kind of, you know, figure out, okay, how do I find books now? And it took me about, I'd say a couple months to understand the process. And then it took me a year. After that couple months, it took me a year. It took me a year from when I started online arbitrage media to have like a backlog of books that I can always go to and be like, I know that will sell. I know that will sell at this price in this amount of time. And, you know, so the downside to this is it's a hard knowledge to learn, but it's a high valued one, you know, and once you've learned it, you can utilize it over and over and over and over again, and it's really endless after that. And that's the beauty of it, you know. But the truth is it's going to take a while to learn. In the video suggested now, I will go over the step you need to get started. So check that out. Thanks for watching. Later.